Mount Zion Matriculation Higher Secondary School welcomes you for online class. I am Uma Jan Bhaskar. Today we are going to see Unit 1 Classic Detectives. The Daffodil Case, written by Ruskin Bond. And before going into this chapter, let us know about the Ruskin Bond was born on 19 May 1934. He is an Indian author of British descent. He lives with his adopted family in Landour, Missouri, India. Most of his works are influenced by life in the hill station at the foothills of the Himalayas, where he spent his childhood. Actually, Ruskin Bond, his first novel was The Room on the Roof, and it was written when he was in 17 years old, and the book was published when he was 21 years old. The Indian Council for Child Education has recognized his role in the growth of children's literature in India. Also, he was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award in 1992 for his short story collection, A Trees Still Grow in Dehra. He was also awarded the Padma Bhushan in 2014. So, for writing short stories, also stories, he received Sahitya Academy Award in 1992, and in 2014 he received Padma Bhushan Award. Now, here this topic is BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation. This is related to this chapter, so we should know something about this. You could see this BBC building image. BBC is a national broadcaster that makes programs for television, radio, and the internet. What is their main work? They make programs for television, radio, and the internet. They are the world's leading public service broadcaster and founder of this mass media BBC, the government of United Kingdom, and the first director general was John Charles Walson Ray. 18th October 1922, that means 97 years ago, it was as British Broadcasting Company. Now, from 1st January 1927, that means 93 years ago, it's changed into British Broadcasting Corporation. Also, the BBC is established under a royal charter and operates under its agreement with the Secretary of State for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport. Its work is funded principally by an annual television license fee, which is charged to all British households, companies, and organizations using any type of equipment to receive or record live television broadcast and iPlayer catch-up. The fee is set by the British government, agreed by Parliament, and used to fund the BBC's radio, TV, and online services covering the nations and regions of the UK. Since 1st April 2014, it has also funded the BBC World Service, launched in 1932 as the BBC Empire Service, which broadcasting in 28 languages and provides comprehensive TV, radio and online services in Arabic and Persian. Here, BBC does its services to the public, also companies, From them they are getting money. That means whatever services public and companies receiving, for that they are paying money. From that this BBC company gets funds from them. Now let us know about this character, Sherlock Holmes. Who is he? Sherlock Holmes is one of the English literature's most famous private detectives. And Sherlock Holmes is a fictional detective of the late 19th and early 20th centuries who first appeared in publication in 1887. Actually, here this character Sherlock Holmes is a fictional character, imaginary character. And who is he? He is a private detective. And his first publication appeared in 1887. Also, this character, fictional character Sherlock Holmes, created by British author and physician Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Here we know Sherlock Holmes is a famous private detective. First, let us know who is detective and what is their job. A detective is an investigator, usually a member of a law enforcement agency. They often collect information to solve crimes by talking to witnesses and informants, collecting physical evidence, or searching records in databases. This leads them to arrest criminals and enables them to be convicted in court. A detective may work for the police or private. After seeing this, we know what is the main power the detective should have. They should have sharp observation, okay, and able to solve cases in different way. Here, Holmes is famous for his powers at using logic and astute observation to solve cases, because Sherlock Holmes needs a very few evidences, clues for to solve the cases. Also, he solved many cases in different way, and he is perhaps the most famous fictional detective and indeed one of the best known and most universally recognizable literary characters. And here, Dr. Watson was his loyal friend. Watson was his faithful friend. And Holmes' address, 221B Baker Street, London. Now, let us learn new words and meanings from this lesson. Here, the word commissioned, meaning given a task. Ambling, walking slowly in a relaxed manner. Lapping, washing against something with a gentle splashing wound. Electorates, all those qualified to vote in an election in an area. Stooping, bending forward. Peaked, pointed. Steely, hard. With a flourish, in a showy manner. Elementary, here in this lesson, meaning given simple and easy. Trifle, a bit. Resentfully, in a manner that shows hurt. Accent, a way of pronouncing the words of a language that shows Which country or area a person comes from? Restraining, holding back. Keeps. Here causes someone to be late. Condescended, did something that might be below one's dignity. Trample, crashed, bulbs. Here, the underground part of certain kinds of plants from which new shoots grow. Certain, an offensive word for someone considered unintelligent. And then here, last one, Pekingese Pomeranian, breeds of small dogs said to be short-tempered. Conceal, hide, stealthily in a secretive manner while trying to avoid being noticed. Nip, a small bite or pinch. Outraged, furious, grim visage, serious faced. Countenance, face. Obliques, grateful. Greenhouse, a glass building in which plants are grown in a protected environment. Rake, a gardening tool with a long handle ending in a row of metal teeth. Curb, the edge of a road formed by stones lining a pavement. Now we start this story. I hope this would be a wonderful story. Now, Ruskin Bond met Holmes. The story starts there. It was a foggy day in March and Bond was in Baker Street. We know very well Baker Street, it is Sherlock Holmes' address. Yes. Now, Ruskin Bond also there in Baker Street. Why he was there? Because BBC had given a task to Bond. What is the task? To give a talk on village life in India. So he was going to BBC radio station. He was remembering the smell of cow dung smoke and the scent of jasmine and the flood waters lapping at the walls of mud houses. Because we know he is a British Russian but Indian author. He was written many stories and in and around India and the hill station. So before going to give talk, he was recalling, gathering points. He could remember the smell of cow dung smoke and jasmine flower scent, yes, and flood waters lapping at the walls of mud houses. In villages, we can see these mud houses, jasmine floods, and the cow dung smoke. So he was gathering, recalling his days in villages. He did not know much about village electorates and that sort of things. Actually, he did not know more details about electorates. Who is electorates here? People who is voting during election time. And thinking of village life in India, when he realized he was not on Baker Street anymore. Okay, thinking something, and he just lost his way to BBC. Okay, he wandered into Regent's Park and he didn't did not sure of the way out. He saw a tall gentleman wearing a long grey cloak was stooping over a flower bed. Okay, just he was going here and there and he doesn't know how to go to BBC from Regent Park. Now there was a gentleman wearing a long grey cloak means cloth, and bending forward over a flower bed. And now what happens? Bond went to that gentleman and asked, "Excuse me, sir, can you tell me how I get out of here?" And he is asking way how I can go out from this place, from Regent Park. The tall gentleman questioned him, "How did you get in?" in an impatient voice. When he turned and faced Bond, he received a severe shock. Okay, the gentleman, tall gentleman, he got irritated. Just he questioned him, "How did you get in here?" And when he turned and saw Bond received a severe shock. Why? We'll see now. The tall gentleman wore a peaked hunting cap, and in one hand he held a large magnifying glass. Magnifying glass means enlarging glass. And he possessed a long steely jaw, and his eyes had a fierce expression. How he looked! He had a long jaw, and his eyes had a fierce expression. Okay, he was very serious and searching something. Bond exclaimed, "Good heavens, you are Mr. Sherlock Holmes." Now one could make out he is Sherlock Holmes. Who is Sherlock Holmes? He is a private detective, famous private detective. He had a chance to meet him and he replied, "And you, sir," with a flourish of his cloak, "are just out of India, unemployed and due to give a lecture on the radio." And now Bond just turned and saw. Also, the tall gentleman looked at Bond and he was giving some details about Bond, asking, "Are you just out of India, unemployed, and due to give a lecture on the radio?" Now, Bond stammered, but, how did you know all that?" Now, again, Bond got severe shock. Then he's asking, "But how did you know all this?" Because first time those two just meeting, and immediately Holmes able to give details about Bond. "You have never seen me before. I suppose you know my name too." Then Bond was telling, "Then you have given these many details about me, then you might be know my name also." Holmes said, "Elementary, my dear Bond." And now Sherlock Holmes is explaining how he came to know about Bond. Bond had the BBC notepaper in his hand on which he has been scribbling reveals his intention to give a talk. And his name was written on the envelope which he was holding upside down behind it. And also the timings. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. If he was an employee somewhere in some companies, he wouldn't be roaming in this place. He would be in the office. And now Bond asked, "Okay, these things are written and somewhere in the notebook, and this timings, from that you came to know these details. Then how did you know I'm from India?" Then Sherlock Holmes replied with a smile, "Your accent." That means from his pronunciation, how he spoke the language. From that, he came to know he is from India. Now, here you can see how he observed the things and got the details from a person. Bond was about to turn away and leave Holmes. He laid a restraining hand on Bond's shoulder. Okay, they discussed and Bond about to leave the place, but Holmes just put his hand on Bond's shoulder, and Holmes asked Bond to stay a moment as his friend Watson was late to that place. Holmes wondered what keeps Watson. In what way can I help you? Bond asked, feeling flattered that the great man had condescended to take his help. Actually, Bond now just he about to leave the place, but Holmes asked Bond's help to do some work in the park. Now, Bond asked, "In what way can I help you?" Because Bond knows, and people also knows that Sherlock Holmes is a famous private detective. He solved so many cases in different way, in different cases. He never takes much time to solve cases. Such a person, such a great person, asked help from Bond. He felt happy and proud also. Now, Holmes said, "Take a look at this." Going down on his knees near the flower bed. "Do you notice anything odd?" Bond replied, "Somebody's been pulling out daffodils." Holmes appreciated Bond that his powers of observation are as good as Watson's. Then he asked Bond, "Now tell me, what else do you see?" Okay, here Holmes asked Bond to stay back. The reason is he was just collecting some details. So he asked Bond to look at the ground, and Bond also replied, "Somebody has taken out the daffodil." Daffodil means it's a kind of flower. It's a yellow color flower we can see in European countries. So now Holmes appreciated Bond that his observation power compared to Watson's. Then he asked, "What else could you see?" Bond replied, "The ground is a little trampled, that's all." Now, Bond replied, what he said, "The ground is a little trampled." And Holmes asked, "By what?" Bond, "A human foot, and yes, a dog has been here too. It's been helping to dig up the bulbs." Now, Bond is, then again Holmes asked, "By what?" The ground is trampled means, crushed means by what? Then Bond replied, "A human foot." And a dog also accompanied with the human, and the dog helped to dig up the bulbs. Holmes, "You astonish me, Bond. You are quicker than I thought." Now Holmes started explain what all that was about. "Someone has been stealing daffodils from the park for the past week. The park authorities have asked Holmes to deal with the matter." He thought that they could catch the culprit that afternoon. Here, whatever questions asked by Holmes, Bond could give answer immediately. Then He compared Bond's intelligence with his friend Dr. Watson. Now, Holmes explained why he is there and what is happening in the park. Someone has been stealing daffodil, the flower, from the park past week. So, the park authorities asked Holmes to deal with the matter. That means they told Holmes to find who is the culprit. Now, they decided, and Bond and Holmes stayed back in that Regent Park, and they had a confidence that they could catch the culprit that afternoon. Bond was rather disappointed and he thought that it wasn't very dangerous. Holmes agreed that the current job was not dangerous and he gave a few instances of the way times had changed. In the olden days, Ruritanian princes and duchesses who lost their diamonds and tiaras would go to private detectives for help. Bond was disappointed because Holmes has taken very small case like finding the culprit who is stealing the flowers. But he knows is intelligent. He thought he might be taken such a big case, but it was not there. So Bond was disappointed, and for that, Holmes is giving a reason why he is taking up these kind of small cases. Because in the olden days, the Ruritanian princess, this is also imaginary place, and duchess who lost their diamonds and tiaras. Okay, they would go to private detectives like Sherlock Holmes. So, but now Ruritanian princess did not exist anymore, and duchess could no longer afford tiaras. Also, the most successful criminals had legalized their activities, and the East End, which had once been notorious for crime, had been cleaned up. Now, Ruritanian princes also not exist, and duchess could no longer afford tiaras. Then the criminals had legalized their activities in East End, and now there is no crime. So, further, the Scotland Yard, where Holmes had once enjoyed respect, did not acknowledge his existence. Holmes, therefore, had to take up ordinary cases like the stealing of daffodils. One. But who do you think is stealing the daffodils? Holmes. It's someone who wants a dog and who takes a dog out regularly for a morning walk. That points to a woman. That must be either a Pekingese or a miniature Pomeranian. Holmes suggested that they both conceal themselves behind the bushes and wait for the culprit to come along. Now Bond asked Holmes who might be stolen this daffodil. Then Holmes had some suggestions that it might be a lady and who takes dog along with her. And now Holmes suggested again that they decided to hide themselves behind the bushes till the culprit come to the park. They both crept behind the bushes and settled down to a long wait. After half an hour, their patience was rewarded. A large elderly woman in a green hat came walking stealthily across the grass, followed by a small white worm on a lead. They waited until the woman began pulling the daffodil bulbs out, and Holmes leaped from the bushes. Now, what happens? They waited behind the bushes, and after half an hour, and there was a large elderly woman came with her dog, and Holmes and Bond waited until she touched the floor, and Holmes came out. Hold that lady. Ha, we have you, ma'am, Holmes cried, springing upon her so swiftly that she shrieked and dropped the daffodils. What happens? Just he caught her and sudden shock just she dropped the daffodils on the ground. Bond sprang out after Holmes by his effort was rewarded by a nip in the leg from the outraged comedian. The woman was frightened upon being caught and began weeping, but this did not soften Holmes. He instead asked Bond to notify the park attendant about the thief. After just caught her, Holmes asked Bond to find the park attendant. The woman was afraid and she started weeping, but Holmes did not leave her. Holmes asked Bond to bring the park attendant. Bond hurried off towards the greenhouse and after a brief search found a gardener. When Bond and the gardener arrived there, they found neither Holmes nor the thieving lady. They only found a few daffodils scattered around the spot. Here, Bond just went to greenhouse and just searched. He could found a gardener. When Gardner and Bond came to that place, they couldn't find neither Holmes nor thieving lady. No one was there, and they could find only few daffodils scattered around this spot. Bond tried to explain their disappearance by saying that Sherlock Holmes must have taken the thief to the police. Bond tried to explain to the garden attendant about their disappearance. There means the thieving lady and Holmes. Usually, Holmes he never gave punishment to the culprits thieves. Just he'll hand over the person to the police. And gardener, Sherlock Holmes, yeah, and you will be Dr. Watson, I suppose. The gardener did not believe what Bond was saying. From that sentences, Bond just could understand the gardener did not believe him. He thought Bond must have made up the story or was trying to play a prank. Later, the gardener also had disappeared. Here, just gardener who came along with Bond, he didn't believe Bond whatever he says, and the gardener thought that Bond must have made up a story. Just he was playing with him. And later, the gardener also had disappeared. Then, Bond found the way out of Regent's Park eventually, feeling that Holmes had let him down a little. Here, Holmes asked help from Bond and he could catch the thief culprit. After this, he didn't inform anything to Bond, simply he left the place. So, here Bond was feeling that Holmes had let him down a little. When Bond was crossing Baker Street, he thought he saw Holmes on the opposite curb, alone, looking up at a lighted room. He seemed to be waving at someone. Bond thought he heard Holmes shout, "Watson," but he couldn't be sure about it. Here, after these things, Bond could found a way out of Regent's Park. He was walking on the road when Bond was crossing Baker Street. He thought he thought it's not real. This is imagination of Bond. He saw Holmes on opposite curve. Also, he has seen that Holmes waving. He seemed to be waving at someone, and Bond thought that Holmes is calling someone. That name Holmes was shouted like Watson, but he couldn't be sure about it. This is also Bond's imagination that when he was in Baker Street, he could see Holmes standing and waving at someone and called and shouted Watson. This, but Bond was not sure about it. I hope this story would be interesting. Thank you very much.